Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for today, and I really didn't want to have to make another one of these videos, but 'tis the industry that we're in. So I have to let you know, as of yesterday, Friday, June 3rd, that was Sharon's last day at DC Universe Online. He's on to much bigger and better things for his life and his family, so he's in a much better place for that. So we can't fault him there. I mean, you got to look after yourself and your family, number one. But it's definitely going to be a tremendous loss for DC Universe Online. I mean, the last video I made here was letting you guys know that Batuba left in February of last year. And even since then, we've had not a single power set adjustment or quality of life. I mean, the supercharge revamp is scrapped. We're supposed to have the weapons revamp. All this stuff was going to happen under Batuba, and that's what he's working on, besides artifacts and everything else he did. And now nothing's changed since then. And now Sharon has his hand in much more things over the past year plus. So we're talking like every single pet, trinket, henchman, sidekick, supply drop in the past year plus. That's all designed by Sharon and released. The entire iconic weapons, every single one of them since like House of Legends, since their introduction, that was all Sharon's release. So the reason why we have like the Scarecrow dual cleavers back again, that's all Sharon. Numerous cosmetics and time capsules and booster bundles he helped work on. I mean, even dating back to his content days. I'll put it up on the screen here, but we're talking like Rise of the Battle Urge and Justice System, Hive Elite Raid. We're talking Silent School and Darkness Rising. He created the Vampire Lord, False Idols Elite, Damage Control, Volcano Mining. He created a Mazo. So I mean, these huge bosses. I mean, Vampire Lord was a huge component of Season 1 Survival Mode, and that's all Sharon as well. And then Mazo itself was another unique boss. And same thing, Fractured Godsphere Elite. He was heavily involved with the Grail fight in Fractured Godsphere Elite. So we're talking about someone who had a very keen eye for not only content, but for cosmetics and everything else. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. So I mean, the endgame community, I loved him because he could appreciate what we were looking for. I mean, the story always dates back to when during the Teen Titans DLC, when Hive Elite came out. If you guys remember, like the Terrorfight final boss was much harder, Deathstroke was much harder, and then it was severely nerfed in the first week. Like every single day there was another nerf, and he was forced to make those changes. He didn't want to. He wanted to give, like, you know, anyone complaining about False Elite, anyone complaining about the difficulty in Hive Elite, basically just you know here's the finger, deal with it, and that's pretty much that was his mentality, and he wanted He had that kind of bond with the endgame community. Same thing, like False Idols Elite was another great raid. I mean, everyone knows what Fractured Godsphere was like. So it's a giant loss in terms of not only his skill in the game, but what he's involved in. And I mean, and the other side too, with all the cosmetics and the quality of life fixes, like the seasonals and styles and everything else. I mean, you can see him if you travel like the DCUO forums at all. I mean, you see his posts all over the place. So it's definitely a loss that we're going to feel for a long time. And I understand it, because the reason why DC struggles in this aspect, or at least that's my number one assumption, is that imagine, like you saw my previous video with all the job postings. You know, if you're fresh out of university or college and you're training on, like, you know, Unreal Engine 4 and 5 and all those like 3D graphics, and you want to like be a leading cutting edge of game design, and your choice is to DC Universe Online, which is developed you know, it's a proven game, but at the same time, it's based on a coding from 2010. So, I mean, that can't be, you know, the number one aspect. It's like, yeah, I really want to work on DC Universe Online, unless you're like a big comic book guy or something like that. But I mean, I can't see someone coming straight out of university wanting to work on DC Universe Online, where they could be a part of another studio designing like a new cutting edge game, you know. So that's a single problem going forward. And I mean, we do have some developers left that are trustworthy. Like, I mean, Sharon they had the faith of everyone. I mean, not only as the lead content designer, but like the creative director aspect and everything else he was involved in. But you could trust Sharon to get things done. And right now we have Romaro taking over for, like, say, like Artifacts and Allies going forward. Toxic is definitely a developer that's probably one of the most seasoned ones there, besides like Milbarge. But but the problem is my worry is not so much for the game itself, but my worry is for like any kind of adjustments or any kind of foundational changes, supercharge revamp, weapons revamp, all these things that the game needs because it has to be refreshed, besides all the other stuff they're planning for, like EG7 and like the graphics update and the PS5 client, all that kind of stuff. But the actual changes to the game that we need for the longest time, that's what I worry about now, because there's no one really left to drive that. So I want to make this video just like I did with Batuba, because I feel like everyone needs to know that A, that he's gone, and B, have a chance to, I'm sure he'll watch this video, so it leaves you a chance to leave a comment description or like a farewell message or whatever. But that's something that we're going to feel for quite some time, and we'll have to see what the game brings us now. But just want to let you guys know. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.